Bartimaeus got it, and so he calls out to Jesus, "Son of David, have mercy on me." But you saw what happened. Many rebuked him and told him to be quiet, but he shouted all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." I wonder if we have that same type of tenacity, that same type of perseverance when it comes to being around Jesus. When you understand that you have nothing left to hope in besides Jesus and his grace, you have this kind of stick-to-itedness. That even though people may come to you and say, "Hey, it's a little too much. Could you quiet down? Not in public, not among good company." You say, "No, I only have one hope and one thing to hope in alone, and that's Jesus Christ and his grace." When people rebuke us for wanting to speak or practice our faith, are we like Bartimaeus? Can I ask you a really pointed question? During the pandemic, were we like Bartimaeus? When the world and the government asked us not to worship in person, and we kindly obliged, we still offered the Lord's Supper, a chance for you to receive God's mercy. But how many of us took advantage of it? How many of us, when people rebuked us and said, "Don't practice your faith right now," or at least not like that, we're willing to say, "Well, within the guidelines that our government has given us, I am allowed to say, 'Jesus, have mercy' in this way, and I'm going to, because I only hope in him." My honest assessment of us as a congregation, we weren't all that good at that. And so I ask you again, do you realize that there's something deeper wrong with you? That Christianity is not just something you practice because it makes you feel good or it's convenient or it gives you a little bit of inspiration, but it is the only thing you have to hope in. That even if something far more sinister and far more complete were to come against religion in this country and block us from being able to actually practice our faith the way that we are supposed to do it, would you be willing to say, "No, I'm going to shout all the louder, 'Have mercy on me, Son of David'"? Some of us aren't going to like that message. Because for some of us, our God is medicine, or our God is government, our God is not Jesus. But as Mark finishes up this section on discipleship, what he is challenging you to say, or ask yourself is, do I actually believe Jesus is Lord? Do I actually believe Jesus is my only hope? Or do I think he is one in a series of hopes, or maybe my third or fourth choice of hope? Is he your only hope? I realize that might have cut a little bit deep for some of us. And I hope it did. But then I want you to hear exactly what Jesus does. Because if you're willing to repent like Bartimaeus was and say, "Have mercy on me," Jesus has all the time in the world for you. He stops the whole procession, says, "Call that man," and the people go to Bartimaeus and they say, "Cheer up, my friend. He is calling you. Get on your feet, go to him." And that is exactly what Jesus is doing for you right now. If you saw Jesus as second, third, fourth, or 19th place in your life for the last year and a half or the last lifetime, Jesus is calling you. If you don't always turn to Jesus for your hope, Jesus is calling you. If you haven't realized until this moment that maybe there is something a little bit deeper wrong with you, Jesus is calling you. So cheer up. Because the gospel is that Jesus is not going to leave this man either in his sins or in his blindness.